video box. This is the video box that I'm in and that you're looking at right now. This is where the teacher will share their screen and show you what to do. When the teacher is showing you how to do something, you should make this video box go into full screen by clicking on the full screen icon here. Try it now and this video should get bigger and cover your whole screen. When the lesson starts, you will see all the steps for the lesson appear here. These are the steps you need to follow to create the project, and the teacher will guide you through each of these step by step. Though if you wish to go ahead and follow them yourself, that's no problem. You will normally be working with two tabs, one tab for the instructions and one tab for creating the code and your project. When you have completed a step, come back to the instructions tab and click on this green done button. You get an award and learning points for each step you complete. Under the video box, you will see what step the teacher is currently on. Under that, you will see the chat feed. The chat feed shows you how everyone is doing, and you can put your own entries into it by clicking on the blue chat button and entering your question or message. Or you can give a quick thumbs up or down, or even put in emojis by using the green react button. After the teacher has shown you how to do a step, click on the exit full screen button to make the video go back small. Try it now. Okay, that's it for the instructions. We can't wait to see what you create. And remember, you can always come up with your own ideas and add them into your project. If you do want to share your project and your own ideas, you can do that using the purple button at the bottom of the lesson. We often show the best ones at the start of the next class. Okay, today's lesson is going to start in a few minutes, so strap in and get ready to code. Hey everyone, we'll be starting the live lesson shortly, but before we do, let's go over a few instructions on how live lessons work and how you can join in. First of all, let's talk about the teacher's video box. This is the video box that I'm in and that you're looking at right now. This is where the teacher will share their screen and show you what to do. When the teacher is showing you how to do something, you should make this video box go into full screen by clicking on the full screen icon here. Try it now and this video should get bigger and cover your whole screen. When the lesson starts, you will see all the steps for the lesson appear here. These are the steps you need to follow to create the project, and the teacher will guide you through each of these step by step. Though if you wish to go ahead and follow them yourself, that's no problem. You will normally be working with two tabs, one tab for the instructions and one tab for creating the code and your project. When you have completed a step, come back to the instructions tab and click on this green done button. You get an award and learning points for each step you complete. Under the video box, you will see what step the teacher is currently on. Under that, you will see the chat feed. The chat feed shows you how everyone is doing, and you can put your own entries into it by clicking on the blue chat button and entering your question or message. Or you can give a quick thumbs up or down, or even put in emojis by using the green react button. After the teacher has shown you how to do a step, click on the exit full screen button to make the video go back small. Try it now. Okay, that's it for the instructions. We can't wait to see what you create. And remember, you can always come up with your own ideas and add them into your project. If you do want to share your project and your own ideas, you can do that using the purple button at the bottom of the lesson. We often show the best ones at the start of the next class. Okay, today's lesson is going to start in a few minutes, so strap in and get ready to code. Hey everyone, we'll be starting the live lesson shortly, but before we do, let's go over a few instructions on how live lessons work and how you can join in. First of all, let's talk about the teacher's video box. This is the video box that I'm in and that you're looking at right now. This is where the teacher will share their screen and show you what to do. When the teacher is showing you how to do something, you should make this video box go into full screen by clicking on the full screen icon.
Hello everyone, this is Radhika from Coding Ireland and welcome to yet another coding adventure. So we've done a lot of Scratch games, and in the last class, Alan took your first class to create an arcade game with Microsoft Make Code. So, how many of you were present in the last lesson? Please give me a thumbs up in the chat section so that I know how many of you already have an idea what is make code and what are arcade games. Let me just check who all joined last time. Okay, so we have Max Shells. Uh, Very good. All right, so that's okay. For those of you who were not there in the last class, I'm going to quickly give you a quick recap of what is make code. So, just like Scratch, make code is also a software which allows you to create arcade games, something like Mario, something like platform games, shooting games, space games, just like you guys must have played with video games, for example, right? So this is a little bit step ahead than Scratch, but it's the same. It just involves block coding. So I'm just going to show you, for example, if I just make a demo project, how it looks like. The interface is just like Scratch, where you have a coding area and you have all of these color coded different categories of blocks. These are different in Scratch, but then they're easy, they're not tough. And on the left side, just like you had a stage area in Scratch, you have this simulator of a device. So it's like this is not an actual device, but something which would look like uh, kind of a video game device. All right, and this is where your code would reflect. So, for example, I'm just going to show you in today's class, we're going to make a shooter game, which is going to look like this. Now, I have 3 lives and I have a spaceship which can go up and down using the arrow keys, which you can see on the left side is getting highlighted as I go up and down. And I have to shoot all these asteroids that are coming my way. Okay, I'm in space, and asteroids, which are little rocks that float around in space, and I can hit them with a missile. Okay, so I'm using the space key right now, but if you have an actual device, there is something called an A and a B button, as you can see on the right side. And if I press those A and B buttons, or if I press the space key if I'm on the laptop, then I can just destroy the asteroid. Okay, and if I touch the asteroid, my game's over. So you can see that this is much more interactive and it's a much more real video game like these kinds of games that you can create with make code. And just to show you what the actual devices look like, give me a second. So this is something which you can install your code on. So whatever code we write, that can get installed on these actual devices called Meowbit, BrainPad Arcade, TinkerGen GameFo, and so on. So you can buy these off the internet. You can ask your parents, and you can see that. See, this is just like what I showed you, the A and the B buttons and the up down arrow keys, and your game is played over here. All right, so that's a little bit of an introduction. Now let's all right, so let's make our game now. Well, step number 1, everyone, please go to the link given below, arcade.makecode.com, and create a new project by clicking over here, new project. Give your project a name. So that's what we'll be creating today, a space shooter game. So I'm just going to call it space shooter and click on create. I'm going to give you a minute to go and create your projects. And with that, we complete step number 1. And what we got is an apple crate. All right, it's autumn season. Is it autumn season over there, guys? Okay, let me see who all have done step number one. Oh, Max Shells step number four. All right. So step number two is we have to create our spaceship that is mentioned over here. Guys, you can follow the steps to create by looking over here, or you can also follow me as I create my own sprite. All right, guys. So what we do, we go on the first given block called on start. This means that whenever our game is started, what do we want to do? So when our game is started, we want to set our sprite. Okay. So just like Scratch, we have sprites over here. Go to the sprite section. Under the create column, you will see set my sprite and just put it in the on start block. Now we are going to create our own sprite. So click over here. And what this means is that okay, first we're gonna make a variable. Okay, so let me just call a new variable and call it spaceship. We are creating our own sprite and we are calling it spaceship. So set spaceship to. Now there are many different kinds of sprites. So which you can see player, projectile, food, enemy. You'll get to know all of these as soon as we progress in the game. So our main player in this whole game is the spaceship. Okay. So we are making our own sprite. So how to make that? Okay, let me just see what we have over here. All right, so go to the editor to create your own sprite. Otherwise, you have gallery where you have pre-provided sprites by MakeCode. So we're gonna make our own spaceship over here. Guys, feel free to be creative. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try making how they made it. I'm sure you guys are better artists than me. I'm not much of an artist though. So, okay, what else is there? Okay, we have a red section at the top, and then we have some orange, and then we have some yellow over here, and then we're just filling this up. Uh, okay, just filling this section up to show that it's, and then a little bit of this. Okay, I'm sure it's not that good, but it's okay. All right, so then press done over here and you can see your spaceship is over here. Okay, it's not that good. Let me just edit it a bit. Okay, better. Okay, looks a little better now. So as soon as I make any modification to the code, you guys can see it reflects on the left side. Okay, and over here, you can just launch it in full screen and you can see. So I'm going to minimize it back and that's it. So what we're doing is when we start the game, we set the spaceship sprite to sprite this, which is of type player, and automatically it will come at the center of the screen. Okay, and that's it. We're done with step number 2 and we receive a baseball ball. How many of you know how to play baseball? Let me know. Okay, guys, once you have done step 2, I can see that many of you are on step 2. I'm going to give it another minute so that you can draw your own spaceship and then we will proceed to step 3. Okay, so let's proceed. Now, step three is that you have to control your spaceship with your up and down and left and right arrow buttons. So that means on your laptop with your arrow keys, you should be able to go up and down and left and right. So basically, we are positioning it along the X and the Y axis. Okay, so let's see how we move it. So we're going to go to the controller section, and then we will say move my sprite with buttons plus. Drag out that block and put it below your set spaceship coding block. Now choose your spaceship variable and click on the plus buttons over here. So this means move your spaceship with buttons Vx, Vy. So guys, Vx means velocity along the x-axis and Vy means velocity along the y-axis. So as you know, x-axis is the horizontal axis and y-axis is the vertical axis, right? So if I just move it like that, it means that, I can move it along the x-axis with speed 100 and also y-axis. You can see when I move up arrow, you can see this is blinking. So I'm pressing the up arrow key. So, you can increase or decrease the speed. So let's say if I make this speed just 13, you'll be able to see that my y speed is slow and x speed is 100. So you can play around with the speeds over here. So as given, we are going to set the speeds to 150 along both the axes. Okay. Also, we want, currently what is happening is that, see, when you move your spaceship, it can go through the screen, right? So we wanted to stay within the boundaries of the screen. So to do that, we have something called uh, we have something which allows us to keep the sprite within your screen. Let me just see it. There is a block called set. Yeah, set my sprite stay in screen. All right, so we're going to choose our spaceship and we're going to say set the spaceship stay in the screen. There's a toggle button which says off and on. So we're just going to keep it to on. Now what's going to happen? When I try to make it go furthermore up, it's the furthest it can go. We will not be going through the screen. Okay, so that's how we are controlling our spaceship. So that's it. With that, we have done step number 3 and we get a PlayStation, which is very good because all we do is create games in this class, right? Of course, with some knowledge. All right, so we have done step number 3 and I can see that all of you are along with me. So very good. Let me just see if there are any doubts as of yet. So we don't have. All right, cool. Next thing that what we're going to do is we are going to set lives. Okay, so as you guys saw in the beginning of the game, we had 3 hearts, that is 3 lives. So let's go ahead and set life. So um, make code gives you a very easy way to set lives in the info section. It already gives you something called a life section where you can set your life to whatever amount you want. So if you set the lives to 3, this will automatically draw 3 hearts, each heart indicating a life. All right, so that was easy. And we're done with step number 4. and we get a bicycle. I'm gonna take a minute and okay, Max Shell's laughing about something. Let us know what's funny. So actually, I have okay. I'm gonna share a very funny incident with you while I wait for all of you to complete step 4. So I used to love riding a bicycle, but then the day that I stopped was it's not funny actually. It's sad because I was going somewhere in the morning and a dog just pounced upon my bicycle and I fell on a pile of rocks, and then there was the bicycle on top of me with the wheels spinning and the dog was at the top of it. And I think luckily nothing happened because I shouted so loudly and the dog just ran away. But yeah, that was the last time, and that was some good 10 to 12 years ago, and I have never ridden a bicycle after that. But yeah, okay, maybe some other day. All right, so let me see who all are on step number 4. I can see that many of you are far ahead. That's good. And okay, cool. I think we can go on the next step. Okay, so Curiosity is on step 4. Mm, okay. So the next step is that we have to create the asteroids. So as I told you, asteroids are rocks that float around in the space, and sometimes due to gravity they are pulled towards the earth, and most of the time they are destroyed within the atmosphere, but sometimes they are big enough that they do fall on the earth, and they can cause destruction depending on where and which part of the earth they fell. So asteroids over here are our enemies. So as I was telling you, the sprites in make code are of many types. So just like spaceship is a player, now asteroids are going to be the enemy kind. So we are going to create our own asteroids over here. So what we're going to do is every second, every 1 second, we are going to have asteroids come into uh, the screen towards the spaceship. Okay, so that is why we are going to do on the game section, we're going to say on game update every 1 second. So 1 second is 1000 ms, which is millisecond. So on every 1 second update, we are going to create our asteroid sprite. So go ahead, name your sprite as asteroid, and we are going to create our own asteroids. So first of all, it's going to be of type enemy. And again, guys, you guys can create one like this. Okay, or you can just choose something from the gallery. There is also a filter button where you can categorize the assets. So if I go to space, so something like this also resembles asteroids. See, it's written here, space, asteroid 1, asteroid 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and rather than creating one, I'm gonna just draw one of these. Okay, so as you see that asteroids came on my screen, and if you're wondering why it's overlapping the spaceship, it is because every sprite, every new sprite that you bring into your code will by default go into the center of the screen. Okay, so don't worry, we will position it later on. I am using a default asteroid, guys. You guys can go ahead and create your own. Okay, so with that, we are done with step, and we got grapes. and we're done with asteroids. So grapes actually represent, it kind of resemble our asteroid, right? The purple color. Okay, step number 6. Now this is a big one. Now we're gonna program the asteroids so that uh, they come like this on the screen. That means every 1 second, you can see every 1 second, a new asteroid is coming towards the spaceship. Okay, so we have 3 steps to do. First of all, we need them to move along the x-axis. Okay, just like that. Secondly, they need to come from the furthermost right edge of the screen. Okay, and thirdly, we're going to do something called a destroy action, which I will explain you. So first of all, let's go ahead and set their velocity. So go to sprites and choose set velocity. Set spaceship velocity Vx to Vy. Now guys, again, velocity Vx means the speed along the x-axis. Now I want the speed, let's say if my speed is 50, and let's see how this is moving. Okay, so I want the asteroid to go over here. So you can see it's moving every 1 second, it's moving like this. Okay, the first thing that I need to do is I need to set its Vy velocity to 0, because I do not want it to move along the y axis at all. All right, I only wanted to move it along the x horizontal axis. So okay, we controlled it from here. Now why is it going backwards? Now guys, to explain this, I'm going to bring in a little bit of a number line so that you guys can really be sure of how things are done. Now see guys, this is a number line. If this is an x-axis, so by default, assume this is the center, which is marked by 0, the center of the screen. Towards the right side, we have positive x-axis. Towards the left side of 0, we have negative numbers. So Vx means velocity along this x-axis. If we give it a positive number, it's like 50, or let's say if I just give it 5, then it will just really make it go slowly towards the right side. Why? Because we can see that on the number line, 5 is lying along the right side. If we want something to go towards the left side, we have to give it a negative number. So if we give it a negative 5, now you can see that it will go towards the left side. Okay, so every 1 second, a new asteroid is coming towards the left side with velocity, which means speed. Velocity is nothing but speed of -5. Now that is too slow. If I give it -50, now looks much better. Okay, but we also don't want it all the asteroids to move with one same speed. So we're going to take some, we want each asteroid to move with different speed. So I'm going to go to math section and take a random speed, take a random speed between, let's say, negative of 20 and negative of 100. And I'm going to put this box over here. So what is happening is we are setting the speed Vx to any random number between -20 to -100. So you can see that every second the asteroid has a different speed. Okay, so step number 1 is done, but step number 2 is left, where they should arise from the right edge rather than from the center. So the rightmost edge means they can come anywhere we have to just, guys, just try to imagine this. We have to set the position of the asteroids along the y-axis. Okay, along the y-axis, so that they come anywhere between this area to this area. Okay, so to do that, what we would have to do is set the position. So you can say set my sprite position, and your sprite is asteroid. And now, see, the x-axis would be 0. Why? Because you only have to set the y. Okay, so let's say I set the y to see, you can see, if I set the y, if it's 0, as I'm increasing the y, you can see, oh, this is a good tool. All right, you can see the coordinates of the point. So this is the point, the cross section of the two axes, x54, y48. Okay, as soon as I go towards the right end, my x is changing and so is my y. So I want anything to come from, what is the topmost point? It's y0, and as I come down, my y is becoming 120. So the minimum I can go is, the topmost point is y0. Sorry. The topmost point is y0, and the bottommost point is y120. And x has to be 0. Okay? X has to be 0, and y can range from anywhere between 0 to 120. So I'm just going to show any random number, for example 100, just so that you guys can see how the asteroids are coming. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. X cannot be 0. I got confused with the scratch interface. I'm so sorry. X has to be the furthermost at this point. So x0 would actually mean that x, see, okay, just see what x0 means. X0 means that we are on the leftmost side of the screen. Okay, so we don't have to be on the leftmost side of the screen. We have to be on the rightmost edge of the screen, which is 160. See what happens if I go from, if I keep my x to be, let's say 50. Okay, so if I keep my x to be 50, you can see that they are coming from this position. Okay, I want my x to be at the furthermost position, which is 160. So x is 160 and y is 100. Now we want to just make the y variable. So we are going to again pick random, and this is going to go from 0 to, so from 0 to 120. That's right now. So x is 160, which is over here, and y can be anything from 0 to 120. I hope you guys got it. If you have any doubts regarding the coordinates, guys, please let me know in the comment section. I'm still waiting. Let me see if anybody has any doubts. Okay, cool. So the last thing that we're going to do in this step is that we are going to do something called set auto destroy to on. I'll tell you why we do that. So we have no, not this one. So we have set this auto destroy on. Let me just see. Yeah. So set asteroid auto destroy on. Now, why we do that is so that whenever your asteroid sprites are not on the screen, they have went through the screen. We want to destroy those variables. All right, because they are just if you learn about memory management. So basically, whenever the variables which are not in use, it's better to just destroy them, otherwise they slow our speed the speed of the game down. All right, so it's just like how you just you know when you're running applications in your phone, and if a lot of applications are running in your phone, a lot of apps are running in your phone, it just slows your phone down. It's like the same thing. So it just destroys those asteroids which are not in use. Okay, all right. So every 1 second, we are creating an asteroid and we are moving it along the horizontal axis at a random speed of -20 to -100. And then we are positioning it so that they come from the farthermost right edge of the screen. Okay, so with that, we complete step number 6 and we get an eraser. All right, step number 7 now. I see that. Okay, Maxwell says that his internet is not working. So let me just see. Maxwell, is your internet up again? Please let me know. I'm just going to refresh the screen just to see if there are any other messages. So Maxwell, it's okay. Whenever your internet is up again, you can actually using this YouTube box in your screen. You can go backwards in the live lesson, and you can just see the video again from whichever step you got lost at. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do step number 7. Guys, do you want me to slow down and wait for you guys? I see that most of you are actually ahead of me, which is good. My kids are very smart. So, but if you guys need any help till step number 6, please let me know. I can wait. Just gonna give a minute and go through everybody's chat section again. Okay. Okay, it looks like all's well. All right, let's go to step number 7 now. Now that our asteroids are moving, our spaceship is all set up. Now we need to fire the controls. Okay, so we need to fire the missiles. So first, let's design our rocket. And okay, guys. So what it means is the A button pressed. It means that on your actual device, the rockets will get fired if you press the A button. But if you are using a simulator, which is this, you or an actual laptop, the space key on your keyboard will work the same way. So this missile or this rocket is actually called a projectile. A projectile is something which is fired from a sprite. Okay, so just like what we're going to do, we are going to set a projectile, and we're going to draw our own projectile. That means this rocket is going to get projected out. That's why it's called a projectile from our spaceship with this speed. And you can see that the speed is only along the horizontal axis and not the vertical axis, because it's just going to go straight and hit straight along the horizontal axis and hit the asteroid. Okay, so we are going to go to controller and say when the on A button pressed, you have a whole list of options on which button you want to control it with. So we're going to go with when A button is pressed, go to sprite section, and you have under the projectile section, you have something called set projectile to this projectile we're going to create now. So first let's go ahead and create our own projectile. Again, I need to see how it looks because as you guys know, I'm not very good with drawing. Oh, this seems fairly easy actually. So you draw this and then this and then this. Okay, let's see how that goes. So we had something like that. And then we had, oops. Okay. We had something like this, right? And then we had something like this. And oops. And then something like this, I guess. That's fine. Even if it's not the same, it's fine. Okay, guys, please draw it better than me. I can try to make it a little better though. I hope that's fine. Looks more like a hammer than a rocket fire, but it's okay. So press done, and this is your projectile. And then this needs to be projected out from where? From the spaceship. Okay, so the projectile, this projectile is going to be projected out from the spaceship with only the horizontal velocity, horizontal speed of, let's say, 100 and not the y-axis, which is 0. So let's test this. So whenever I press the space key, you guys can see that it's being projected out. Okay, so I can go up and down, and whenever I do that, right now it's not interacting with the asteroid. We'll do that, but it's working. Okay, so if you change the speed over here, it's just going to go slower. So you guys can experiment with it. Okay, so okay, we're done with step number 7 and we got raindrops. Okay, cool. Maxwell is back in the meeting, so his net is working. Good to know. All right, guys. The next step is to destroy the asteroids. Up until now, we created the asteroids. We moved them along the screen. We created the spaceship. It's moving, and we created our rockets that are also projected out. Now we just need to interact all of these elements together. So now whenever the rocket is fired out and it touches the asteroid should burst out. Okay, so we're going to detect whenever they touch each other. So we have this block of code. I'm going to explain it. So you have a block called on sprite of kind projectile overlaps other sprite of kind enemy. So we are going to detect when one sprite overlaps with other sprite. Okay, so we are calling this sprite, we're calling the projectile as sprite, and we are calling the enemy as other sprite. Okay, so when the sprite of kind projectile is overlapping with another sprite which is of kind enemy, so which is the enemy sprite? It's the asteroid. So whenever they overlap, what do we want to do? We want to destroy the other sprite. What is the other sprite? This is the kind enemy, that is the asteroid. With an ashes effect, I'm going to show you. Okay, and then we're going to change our score by 1 because we're going to score 1 point. So let's see how that happens. So you can go to sprites section and you can say, oh, overlaps. On sprite of kind, so when the projectile kind of sprite overlaps with another kind of sprite, which is the enemy. Okay, what do we want? We want to destroy. All right, so we have the destroy section. Where is the destroy? Yes, so we have uh, the destroy plus. So destroy which sprite? We want to destroy the other sprite. So you can just click here, guys, and drag it. Okay, showing you again, just click here and drag it. Okay, so and put it over here. Okay, so destroy the other sprite plus with some effects. I'm going to show you what these effects mean. So let's say this is the spray effect. So, okay, let's see how that works. Okay, different kinds of effects are over there. So if we do like an ashes effect, and that means the effect is coming for half a second. Okay, destroy with ashes for half a second. So if you don't want half a second, you want even further, like half a second, which is 200, approximately half a second. Then this is this much, and you can see, yeah, so this is the ashes. I don't see much difference in ashes and spray though, but you can choose whatever relevant effect you want. There's fire over here. I think even that would be good. Okay, and then in the info section you have a score section, so you can change your score by 1. So let's see how your score comes up. So you can see on top you got 1 score, another you got 2, and then so on and so on. Your score is changing by 1, hence change score by 1. Okay, so guys, you can play around with what effect you want and for how much seconds or milliseconds you want, and you can do it according to your own interest. Okay, with that, we are done with step number 8, and we got a tree farm. Step number 9, we are now going to do the losing condition. That means if the spaceship gets hit with the asteroid, then we are going to lose life. And nevertheless, we are still going to destroy the asteroid because it's a collision. Okay, so we basically do the same thing, but now when the player, that means the spaceship sprite, the sprite of kind spaceship, which is your player, overlaps with other sprite of kind enemy, which is your asteroid. Now we still destroy the asteroid. Now we are using the fire effect, and then for some extra effect, we're going to do something called a camera shake. I'm going to show you what that is, and then we're going to decrease the life by 1. So change life by -1. So let's see, guys. You can just go to the section again. Go to the overlap section. On sprite of kind player overlaps with other sprite of kind enemy. So again, you want to destroy the other sprite with fire effect this time. And again, you can choose it for whatever time you want. Let's see. So this is the asteroid, and boom. The fire effect is really nice, but it doesn't show quite an explosion, right? It doesn't show that, oh, spaceship has collided with an asteroid. So we'll do like a very dramatic effect, which is called a camera shake. So go to the scene and choose the camera section, choose a camera shake. So camera shake by 4 pixels for about half a second. So that means you can see that it just kind of shook 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I just make it, like 8 times, you can see it's a much bigger effect. Okay. it's just about the pixels, is just about the intensity of the screen. Okay, so we're just going to set it back to 4, and it's going to shake for about half a second. You want to see it, what happens if I do it for 5 seconds? Just play around and let's see. Okay, so it's shaking for about 5 seconds. That's too much of an effect, so I'm just going to go back to half a second. Okay, and next we are going to change the life. Guys, remember, don't change the score by 1. You have to change the life by 1, -1. So let's check again. Boom, and you can see the hearts going. Yeah, and whenever it's over, it automatically goes to a game over section. That is a very cool effect. Okay, so we have done step number 9 as well, and with that, we complete our project, guys. Um, the space shooter arcade game. Uh, I'm just gonna go ahead and do step number 10 as well. I'm just gonna show it to you. So, what they are saying is that as an extra thing, what you can do is that you can have something like a power up to the game, something that gives you extra points. So just to make your score go further up, you can have something as a bonus, a point that whenever your spaceship takes that bonus point, you you get an extra point. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the code for that. So what's happening now, that when your game is updating from a random of 5 to 20 seconds, all right? So it's like every, you can say every 10th or 12th second in the games, somewhere in between the game, randomly, every 5 to 20 seconds, you're gonna get a new sprite floating around, which is of kind food. Food is like a positive sprite, something that you eat and then you gain energy, right? Uh, it's gonna it's gonna come the same way, just like your asteroids are. Okay, the position is gonna come the same way, the velocity is gonna be the same thing. Okay, everything is gonna be the same, it's just that we're just gonna create a new sprite. And whenever your spaceship is colliding, overlapping with the food sprite, then you're just increasing your score by 1. Okay, how many of you have actually done step 10 over here? Let me know in the comment section. Oh, I see that Curious Z has done step number 10 as well. That's great. Sasha has also done step number 10. Very good. That's great, guys. Please share your projects in the chat section so that I can see everyone who's done. Please share your projects. I'm going to show you how you can share your project. So I'm leaving step number 10 up to you guys. And to share, you can just click on share our project. And okay, now first of all, you need to save it in the make code. To do that, it's somewhere over here. Okay, I don't know why there is a done button. Okay, you just click on save and your project is saved in this image. Okay, got it. Uh, all right. Okay, when you click on save, okay, guys, it's actually saved in your image, and whenever you need to load it, you have to actually load your project. Okay, so you can just go to the home section at the top, which I just clicked, guys. Yeah, so you can just go to the home section and you can see your project saved over here. To share your project though, somewhere over here. Okay, this is for the URL. Okay, let me just see. Where did it go? It used to be somewhere just below this where you could. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here's the share button at the top. Okay, just click on share project, and this is the link. Okay, guys, so here's the share button, and click on share project, and you can just copy the link, and then when you click on share your project in the Coding Ireland portal, you can give it the name. You can call it arcade space shooting, and then you can just paste the URL over here. You can just describe 2 lines about it, and that's it. It will appear in the Codeverse. Okay, so Curious Z actually and Sasha have completed. All right, guys, you can also share your project in the chat section over here, and we can display that in the next class to everybody. Okay, so just like I am sending the link in the chat section, so can all of you. Okay, guys, so that was all about the arcade space shooter game. I hope you guys had a lot of fun, and next week is your favorite session. We have the build battles, where you guys will be making on the spot arcade games of your choice. So yep. All right, that'll be a fun session again. And do let me know in the chat section whether or not you have any doubts. I can take it up in the next class as well. And please share your projects after completing. I see that every one of you more or less has either done it or is along the last steps. I would love to see your projects and especially what you guys did in the challenge section. Okay, so good evening to all of you. Have a great day. I'm going to see you guys next week. Bye bye.